Monday I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say.
All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are, game number 3 of the series now coming at you. This is it. The winner of this will move on to the semifinals. The loser will be done here in the Dota 2 Champions League. And right now, EWF, after getting demoralized, stomped, however you want to say it, in the first game, about a 13-minute victory or so for Team Spirit behind FNG's Monkey King. Game 2, a much different story. It ended up lasting about an hour, but EWF definitely deserving of the victory. Quite the grind they had to make it through, but they pull through and thus forcing this third and final game. So, Breaking CBK joined by Z-Rock once again. We have very similar picks. In fact, the same picks on one another side. Curious to see where things go from here, though.
Yeah, we have the same opening, but very, very different bands here in the second phase. Veno and Coddle banned out, so EWF's going to have to find some new traction here.
Yeah, something changing up for them. Now they get Sand King, so they hey, it worked for them, so I want to stick to that theme. But as you talked about, Coddle and Veno being banned, so they will have to change things up, and kind of makes you wonder what such heroes are going to be now as a result of that.
I mean, I think if you're Spirit, you think of how that last game went. You understood maybe your Jakiro didn't have the impact you needed him to have, or I'm not even going to say that. I think it all came down to just a misexecution of that draft. The Jakiro, coupled with a Max Benjara early game, could have put tower pressure on, opening the map up for Alk a little bit, getting the rest of the team a little more gold rather than stacking it all on the Alk. And that could have gone entirely different. So I don't think Spirit needs to change much if they want to go that Alk again.
Yeah.
Especially once you cut that Veno out of the equation.
There's no doubt that, again, kind of the weak point of Team Spirit was that off-lane Jakiro. Definitely not expecting that here once again from Spirit. And like you said, Alchemist itself, he did perform very, very well and clearly was a very powerful tool for the team. And maybe, if anything, kind of playing a little bit different as far as you get that earlier Radiance, become more effective with combat earlier on in the game, and rather than still trying to find more farm. But they get the Disruptor with the third pick, so already a difference there and a support option that's going to be very viable for assisting with fights. So that means very likely Vengeful Spirit going to yet again end up as the core, of course, for Team Spirit here. But now fourth pick for EWF, so this is where they're forced to be different now with this pick. What will it be? Mid option and an off lane you'd figure they probably still need.
Omni Knight.
Okay, Omni Knight.
Radiant team pick.
Doom.
Huh.
Wow, that was an immediate response
Dire
there.
team ban.
Okay, I like the idea of the Doom. I'm curious what they do with it. Looks like it's gonna have to be the offlane role, but also has that pseudo jungling potential in the offlane, which I've discussed to death. But I really do think super strong in this patch, extremely strong. So I think it's definitely a pick that can flex well enough for them and provide enough utility to really be important. The one question I have, though, is you're running a kind of a utility offlaner, right? You've got a Doom, and you run at people with Scorched Earth and Inferno Blade, but you're not a huge damage outputter, and neither is Venge Carry. So this lineup looks fairly light on damage from Spirit's end, and if I'm EWF, I'm probably banning that TA again. Yeah. You don't want to give them that huge damage steroid in mid lane around all of this control that they have. So it kind of happens the same way for Spirit's ban here too, though. EWF picked a draft that has a lot of control and a lot of protection with that Omni, but we saw Ursa kind of struggle to kill things in that late game, last game. He could kill the SD if he got on him, but even in the Abyssal Blade, the Disrupt was still coming out before the kill actually happened. So we'll have to see how each team decides to find the rest of their damage here. We could see something like the mid Lina from EWF, I think would fit their draft theme well. Spirit could look to go with that Alchemist again if they like the way the game flow went in game one. The one thing I don't like about this draft, if they'd want to go the Alch, is Doom doesn't offer any pushing ability, really. He can devour a creep that gives an aura, which is something, but not anything to the level of Liquid Fire should have brought. And they just didn't get any towers with that pushing presence. So I think if they pick the Alk, they may get pushed in way too hard early and never really be able to come online. Like last game they did, but it took 40 minutes. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, they were very confident with that Doom pick as well. Going to happen right after Omni Night in that 4th pick spot right there. So Team Spirit clearly comfortable with the idea. Also, something else about Team Spirit, and I was going to bring this up earlier too, that they're currently set to be playing in another tournament, in the grand finals of another tournament, a best of the 5 against Vegas Squadron, actually set to happen in a little under an hour from now. So they also have that in their timeline, knowing that they're going to be going into a best of the 5 series. So you kind of like look at that previous game too, and maybe taking that into a little bit of consideration, the idea that they had another big series coming up. But hey, they weren't letting that phase them too much. They wanted to grind it out, obviously coming out and losing end still. But Shadow Fiend, the final pick, by the way.
Yeah, so they got the full tricore of what I was suggesting in the first draft here. They got the Slaughter Revenge Shadow Fiend combo.
5 seconds remaining.
It's all in all, this lineup is very, very well balanced from Spirit. I like it a lot. A little light on the damage if the Shadow Fiend falls behind, which we have seen happen in recent games when Shadow Fiend's been picked. But the other big linchpin is they can't afford another 18 or 19-minute Slaughter Blink. It is going to have to come out sooner. It's going to have to be effective. Or they're going to really struggle to find team fights. The Venge Swap and the Disruptor Glimpse, very, very good when you're ahead. Not so good when you're behind. So it's a very tempo-based lineup out of Spirit here. I like it a lot. And we might have a core silencer here.
I mean, we have to, right? Like, I guess.
Or it's Mid-Rubik. The dream's not dead, man.
Okay, if those are my 2 options, I'm guessing it's going to be a core silencer.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty confident with that one right there.
Come on, Bendy, bring it back.
Although I'm happy to see the Rubik again, because again, I forget the name who played it, but we'll see here. But he played it very well, whoever it was that previous game.
Whoever it was.
So memorable that I forget who was actually doing it, but...
Yeah, it was Shadow there, wasn't it? Shadowway?
Shadowway? Yeah, I think it might have been, actually. Okay. But he has the vengeful swaps to steal once again. Obviously, he was on point last game with that constantly, so going to be fun to see what he is able to take advantage of this game.
Yeah, and one thing to note, a lot of teams, when people talk about Doom, right, they say, oh, if he just gets his Doom off on this one person, it's really good. That's not the situation you want to Doom. You don't want Doom to be in the situation where if he doesn't Doom X hero, he's not worth the pick. And in this game, I think it's one of those games where he can Doom the Rubik, he can Doom the Omni, he can Doom the Sand King. Any of those 3 are huge impact in this game.
Yeah.
So I like the pick here and the fact that Doom is going to be useful no matter who it goes on him. And that I think really helps bring the Doom into relevancy, I guess. But if they knew they were going to last pick the Shadow Fiend, Clockwork was available. And you can't overstate the benefit you get out of that Cogs at level 1 for the Shadow Fiend just getting all the free souls.
That is true. Yeah, they could have done that definitely over the Doom right here, and not only that big start, but just in general, just the idea of the hero. Very powerful for that catch. And also the Cogs cause a lot of issue for Ursa, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I actually think they kind of missed out on an opportunity there for sure. But again, we'll see how this Doom does. For all we know, DK Phobos is going to go off here in this game and just be like, oh, yeah, that made the Doom pick that much better. But
Yeah, and it is fairly hard to want to pick Clockwork into Rubik. All those spells are pretty good steals. He can always lift out whoever gets hook-shotted. Like, you just lift the clock out and move him out in the early game. So the kill pressure's pretty much gone. So I can see the disadvantages to picking it, but I wouldn't have minded seeing a long-range initiation.
The battle begins.
well, they have Doom. Sticking to it here. Last I checked, there's no way to swap heroes while you're in the game. Maybe they'll add. Maybe Valve will add that as a pay-to-win option in the future.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
That along with hats.
There's lots of hats. I'm okay with hats. But yeah, the real question is going to be, can they get impact out of this Venge carry? It was so ineffective last game in the early game. It really just didn't do anything for them. They had a 3-support kill lane that didn't kill very many things. And another dual lane coming out of EWF here.
Yeah, last time was with the Coddle Sand King. This time the Omni Knight, the Focus Farm, and then you got Sand King down there support. And They're going to apply some pressure to Vengeful Spirit off the bat here. He has the Poor Man Shield and Omni Knight, so going to mitigate plenty of damage. Not going to be a kill, though, but...
And the Sand King did a great job not showing until the first wave of Terror came out. Venge thought it was a 1v1. You get some support from the Disruptor, but Howl helps you win those, or Wave of Terror helps you win those trades. But now she doesn't have stun until level 2, so she can't even really walk up to lane until she gets there.
Middle lane. Silencer going to take a crush, but that'll be the end of that. Slaughter will just walk away. He got the Arcane Curse up before, too, so a little more effectiveness out of that.
Denied.
Yeah, Shadowfiend doing exceptionally well for the first few levels of the game, though.
Wow.
Getting to 11 souls already in the first couple waves.
Jeez. Yeah, how did that happen? I mean, it was 1 versus 1. I feel like Silencer should actually be all right in this matchup.
Yeah, he's all right. He has a huge base damage lead, so just maybe some mismatch in terms of raw laning skill. Shadowfiend playing it very well.
Well, that's a huge start for Team Spirit. Who needs cogs when you're last hitting like a champ like that in the early game? So, great start for Iceberg. Again, he played the Alchemist last game.
Iceberg needs to be a little careful here, though. When Silencer hits 3, if he's this slow, he's just going to get QE'd and die. Okay, flew out of self. He's in good shape now. The bottle is... Oh, he went boots instead of bottle first, too.
Double damage.
On the SF.
Likes the movement here, the positioning purpose.
Yeah, and I can understand that, but he's been forced to use all the regen he was given. The shared tangos, the salve. So at this point, the only other regen available is the shrine. This DD Sand King could mean a dead Disruptor. The Slaughter does scout him out, which should back them off on Spirit's side.
Vengeful still hanging in.
Question mark.
Disruptor, though. Okay. He will spot him with the kinetic field, so... But look at Vengeful. He's going in. He's feeling ballsy here. Oh, I thought for sure we were going to see a Burrow Strike. There we go. Finally comes out. Maybe a heal? No? Okay. Or not playing
Yeah,
too
without an
aggressive.
Orb of Venom on somebody, it's a little bit hard. You don't have Degenera yet. You don't have an Orb of Venom. It's just, you don't have enough chasing ability.
Yeah, he's actually sitting on the second point here, Omni Knight. Waiting
He
for
can quick skill
calls.
repel if he needs it, but wants to take Degen.
So he eventually gets there. Lift middle lane onto the Shadow Fiend. The curse comes out. Glave's doing plenty of damage, but not enough for any kill. Just again, great harassment there.
Yeah, and that's a good time to use the Shrine, though. The damage is split fairly evenly across the Slaughter area, and the Shadow Fiend and SF had burned most of his mana.
It's back to the middle here. This time he will have Slaughter now supporting somewhat. As Ursa is having a great time at the top lane. The phase boot's already finished. He's literally free farming because Doom is busy in the jungle meanwhile. Keeping an eye on
Yeah,
that.
you're seeing very, very different dichotomies of play here. This is a greedier offlane that can jungle a little bit versus running a dual lane to get your offlane farm like they're doing on EWF's side. So just the two different styles that you can play offlane right now. And we're seeing how each can impact the game. The Venge is getting pressured super heavily right now. And yeah, the Ursa's way ahead of the Venge if you look at the CS charts.
Yeah, that and obviously net worth to top it all off. So once again, we're going to have a great start for the Ursa just like last game, and definitely saw the effectiveness of it, especially when he got the Blink Dagger earlier on. It just really started to take off. He also went the Vlad's last game, so we'll see if he continues that trend here. Guess I don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
He got very nice farm curve, basically getting from the Vlads to the Blink without a problem.
First blood, by the way, middle lane.
Oh.
And he's just diving in on Doom. Nyx falling low, and enough for the kill right there. DK Fumbles credit for it. Burrow Strike coming through, though. However, Rubik one auto attack away, and Shadowfiend will finish him off. Lands a couple of raises, the stomp from Doom, and that's a double kill for Iceberg. Just like that, 3 for nothing.
And this is what was lacking in the Jakiro last game. He got the early levels, but couldn't do anything with them. They traded off basically farm on Venge for farm on Doom this game, and it paid off huge. That's a triple kill in mid to start the game off, 2 of them on the Shadow Fiend. This is absolutely the dream start when you play this farming offlaner like this with the jungle synergy.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he had a stomp there either until he ended up using it at the very end. So the War Stomp coming through.
I can't believe he had the mana for all of that.
True.
He got off 2 Infernal Blades and a Scorched Earth and a War Stomp. That's basically his entire mana pool.
Now he has a Magic Wand, a Ring of Basilius to help with that, so Gonna make his way back into the jungle, it seems like, as middle lane, though they would love to kill the Shadow Fiend. Kind of slow down momentum. A lot easier
They committed a
said than done.
smoke to it, and they committed their offlaner to this. I guess Sand King's a half offlane, but they needed to get something out of that. Iceberg's gonna just blow out of control here.
Ursa applying some pressure to the top tower at least, and again continues his free farm, but yeah, going to need really some early impact out of him now, especially with the star kicking in. Slaughter's going to kind of take over the top lane meanwhile and try to progress towards that Blink Dagger. I mentioned last game he really struggled to get that earlier on Blink Dagger. So keep an eye throughout this one, at least finding some room for him now. Doom is almost level 6, one creep kill away from level 6 right here.
He's out-leveling anyone in the game right now. Other than the Ursa, I guess the Ursa had pure solo experience, but this is awesome. This is the start that Spirit wants. They've got early farm up on the Doom, so now he can roam and jungle a little bit. You can give Slaughter the offlane when it pushes in, which is going to accelerate the Blink Dagger timings. This is everything they want in this early game.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of puts EWF on a please Ursa, get us through this early game and let us be a team. So we'll have to see. I want to see the Blink Dagger first on in this game. I think the Vlad's was a little bit greedy last game, but they picked up a couple kills on a Roshan pretty much right when he got it, which got him to the Blink Dagger 2 or 3 minutes later.
Yeah, likely that's going to happen yet again, especially with now the opposite better start here in favor of Team Spirit is not as necessarily likely. So yeah, getting that early Blink Dagger as mentioned on to Ursa, 1,000 gold saved up, nothing queued up yet. So perhaps trying to decide that, but we'll see what he does go for. I know that you were actually talking with Chad earlier about the semifinals and when they're going to be. So the semifinals right now are planned to be tomorrow, being Saturday. And then the grand final actually is set for Sunday. So it is best of 3 all the way throughout. Obviously no advantages or anything like that, being just single elimination. So, but yeah, it's going to finish off into the weekend right here is at least the current plan, pending some schedule changes. But so the semifinals should be tomorrow, and then again the grand finals on Sunday. And then that will be wrapping things up. Now, I personally will not be here tomorrow. Not exactly sure who's stepping in just yet, but I have other plans. But on Sunday, I'll be back casting the grand finals here. So, but that's what's happening for the rest of this event, just to be clear. As we have one more match also planned for today, of course, later on, set to start in about an hour and a half from now. So obviously, it's being Game 3 no matter what. Shouldn't take that long, but. In about an hour and a half from now, probably going to have a little bit of break after this series and then get into Cloud9 versus Cerberus will be our other semifinal matchup. Another case of where you have one team at Cloud9 that no doubt is the known team and the expected team to come out on top, but even with this series, we had the first game, 13 minutes, it's like, all right, finally we have a stomp here. Nope, not the case. Game 2, EWF plays very well, and they deserve Game 2, and well, anything can happen here in Game 3, so... Honestly, I would not be surprised if that one also goes 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out, so we will see. That's later on today.
Yeah, we've kind of seen across almost every region this huge flattening of the teams. You've got your T1s in every region, sure. You've got your EGs, you've got your OGs. But in the T2 on down scene, it's so chaotic and up in the air right now. You look at how the qualifiers for Kiev were so few invited teams because everyone was playing with rosters. The qualifiers themselves, some of them were super competitive, and we're seeing teams take games off of anyone else, really. It's like past the first 2 or 3 teams in each region, it's a toss-up who would win a best-of-1.
I think a lot of it also, again, comes down to the idea of 7.0. A big patch took place, and a lot changed. And, obviously you still have your skilled players on a lot of these top teams that are just inevitably going to be better as a result of that, but it brought that even footing for a lot of teams to kind of learn strategies at the base where other teams were kind of working off strategies that they've known for years now, or, metas or whatever you want to call it. So I think the 7.0 patch really kind of shifted things as well and opened up that opportunity, no doubt, for these up-and-coming teams to make more of a splash onto the competitive scene. So, yeah, it has been fun to watch. It's kind of the ultimate point here. And obviously it's solid events like this, the Dota 2 Champions League, that give said teams opportunity.
Well, we were having a little discussion in Twitch chat. I don't know if you saw that part too, but these kind of tournaments are really what can define the meta going forward. Like we saw maybe bust out that mid-Veno, and all of a sudden it's starting to take the scene by storm, all because of one series. And it's in a relatively small tournament. It was a qualifier for was it DAC, I believe? No, some Chinese tournament. But either way, yeah, it's just bizarre how we see these relatively minor games spiral out into this huge meta-defining shift. And these kind of tournaments are essential because it's where teams experiment with different things in a real game, and everyone else finally gets to see them. You can't hold a strategy secret if you're playing it in a tournament game.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of these cool things come out and get tested, and it's a lot of fun to watch the meta shape up.
That's what makes these big events coming up that much more intriguing, because you got the DAC. Speaking of that, it's starting. I want to say this weekend, right? It starts on. Actually, when does the DAC start? Maybe not this week. Maybe it's next weekend.
I think it's next
week. It is next weekend. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, so
but
next week.
Aren't they doing a long format for it? Isn't it like Monday through Sunday?
It starts March 27th, it looks like, looking up right here. So, yeah, I guess it's going to start with the group stages, and then the main event will be into the weekend. So, yeah, I guess it will start Monday then. Okay. So
a pseudo-major format for it, which will be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to see, obviously, a lot of these top-tier teams like an OG and Evil Geniuses, Newbie, these teams that maybe we haven't got to see too much of just yet. I guess Newbie we have because China Dodo, but EG and OG are the greatest examples there that we really haven't seen a lot of them since the Boston Major, let alone in a lot of these post 7.0 patch tournaments. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun to see them there, and then of course into the Kiev Major.
Yeah, the way the Chinese scene operates is so interesting. They play a ton of games. They have a lot of exposure. A lot of people watch them, and like the way their scene works over there, it's almost like pro sports here. The players on teams, the reason you don't see huge super teams very often in China, the contracts are so rigid. To get a player off of a team in China, it can be multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a player out. And it leads to these linchpins on a team, right? You've got your star player just like you would in a basketball team or a baseball team. And you work around them and build the lineup around them. Mm-hmm. But you don't really see these juggernaut teams very often. I think the last one was probably DK in TI5, TI4. It's been a good year and a half at least, if not longer. And the longer the Chinese scene goes, the more this gets established, where we've got 7 or 8 good teams, but we don't have that one juggernaut coming out of China that's going to just thrash everybody. And it also leads to stuff like last year at TI. You saw Wings come out of nowhere. And it was because none of those players were quote-unquote superstars at the time. They weren't on these huge contracts. They put a team together without all the legal backing to it, and they just destroyed.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain degree, China's being almost held back by the way their scene's developed.
But it has its benefits, right?
Or like a ton of money.
Well, money's a big thing.
So much money.
But money's a big thing for the players, and it seems like that's going pretty well for them there. But the idea that I know you were bringing up too, the whole LCS format of where there's constant matches happening. There's these the DPL is the biggest example. I think that's the Dota Professional League, as it's labeled. Again, I did a little bit of casting for that recently. But the DPL is basically, it's got the amateur division and then kind of the pro division. It's like a league would work like a Counter-Strike, like CEVO or whatever. We don't have that in these other regions. We just have a lot of these broken up tournaments, such as this one right here, which, it's a great in itself, but it doesn't bring that consistency that you get from the Chinese region that you can definitely appreciate.
And we're not often seeing the top teams play in these either.
Exactly.
Which is a bit of a sad day. But when I'm saying money, it extends way further than that. There's so many long-reaching ramifications to having like dynasty teams where you have a star player behind them. You get sponsor deals that are better. You get more consistent fan bases. You can root for a team. Like how many people rooted for Dendi because he was like, yeah, they like Navi, but it was Dendi.
It's Dendi, yeah.
And having that is really healthy for the scene overall. And I wish more regions would kind of develop in that way, because it would make us more legitimized as a sport and bring in the sponsor dollars and bring in the fans from a more fundamental level.
We could have a discussion on that for hours, I'm sure, but
yeah, we could.
The game is resumed here, so.
Oh, we get to watch Dota now?
Get to watch actual Dota. No pause screen action coming out. They're going to use a scan down here. They notice that Disruptor's nearby, or somebody at least, but let's figure it's Disruptor.
Phobos, though, coming in with the first Doom.
Oh, jeez. That kinetic field doing the work. But yeah, in the middle lane, the Doom coming out on a silencer, and that's a kill with Iceberg, landing the raise. So bottom lane, the failed gank attempt, as I say that, actually maybe not, because Vengeful does eventually get caught. Obviously I went that middle action as I thought that they were getting away right there, but apparently not.
Yeah, they rotated 4 down for it. If you don't get that kill, it's a disaster. So Managing to secure at least one. The Ursa did pick the Vlad or Morbid mask up at least first. We'll see if he sits on that and goes straight for the blink, or if he finishes off the full Vlad's. I know he went the Hedris first last time, so I would lean towards the fact that the blink is coming out first. Vansora has to be so scared down here.
Well, he's going to get a little bit of support as Vengeful ports in, throws out that wave of terror, so obviously they know the Vengeful's here now.
So the smoke was scanned. Smoke into mid by EWF was scanned out by Spirit, so should get popped without a kill, probably.
Oof.
Iceberg, please.
He's in trouble. He's kind of pushing up, applying some raises. There comes the curse. Burrow strike, the lift going to be coming as well, and that's a kill on Shadow Fiend. Now Port coming in, trying to go for the turn kill at least, but Global Silence committed to try to run on out of here now, and it looks like it is going to be successful for them. In fact, they want to go back in. Nyx, he's going to get caught by that crush. Burrow strike on through, but Silencer really overstepping boundaries right there, and he will get turned. So the Global Silence committed to try to run away, ultimately dies in the end, and they do find the kill on a Rubik as well.
Yeah.
They run him down.
Good rotations in there. The Rubik lift was perfect. It dropped onto the Slaughter as he ported in, so almost got the disengage off, but Disruptor had just enough mana to get a glimpse back. And the early levels the Disruptors picked up in the Venge lane bottom really helped there. Like we saw yesterday, a Disruptor was level 3 at 13 minutes, and it was so ineffective because Glimpse couldn't be used effectively.
Bottom lane, Shadowa. Rubik's going to pick up some free farm and solo experience.
Versus flying Vlad's parts out.
He sure is.
So yeah, the Vlad's is going to come up. We'll see if Spirit can punish the lack of mobility on him early game. Probably needing to keep vision on the Roche pit, though. That's where one ward is placed currently. The Radiant Observer is seeing that entrance to the pit.
Rubik, he could be in trouble right here. Glimpse back. Gonna spot him, wave of terror, magic missile, and that's a dead Rubik. Obviously, Vengeful didn't max out that magic missile once again, so you see the burst damage that happens from it.
This isn't why you pick Venge carry. That's what I'm so confused about. Like, you pick it early game to either max Wave of Terror, so you basically 3-shot people with that massive minus armor, or you max Vengeance Aura and you push. So, while it's working well for them in this game, I feel like it's going to fall a little flat.
Just like I did last game.
Right back.
Okay. Yeah, no, Vengeful last game, too, it really tapered off, and it really just became ultimately that 4-1 strat again around the Alchemist, and this time you really would not want that to happen with the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's not like an Alchemist where he's going to be able to just take off and, you know, be that presence here for the team, most likely at least. So they definitely could use that core Vengeful presence, but yeah, going the Magic Missile first seems to be more the aggressive kill potential earlier on build. It is delaying the Vengeance Aura, and eventually that Wave of Terror max out, however, due to it, and won't be as maybe push heavy because of that. But Rome down here to the bottom lane, Rubik and Sand King joining the Omni Knight. However, there is support nearby, the Smoke Ink now from Team Spirits. Omni Knight, all of a sudden he's going to be jumped. The Doom comes out, he can't cast a damn thing. That probably should be the end of him, as it will be right here. Slaughter wants to go in the backline zone. Nice glimpse back on a Rubik. We do see Ursa running in with that Enrage. We're ready to go, that is. Global Silence is popped, but Rubik will fall. And now Ursa, he might be in some trouble. The Static Storm locking it down. Ursa's going to fall. So coming in there way too late. And ends up being the death of him. And now all 4 are here. 5 are here even. As Shadow Fiend joins in pretty late right here. But you know what? He can maybe push the tower with the team. Never mind. He wants to go back to the middle.
Spirit does not put priority on objectives.
Oh, they want hero kills. That's an objective.
Is it though?
Never mind. Rubik, he is going to be run down. Eventually kill him, but in the back lines. Okay, the Gil not going to get any turn kills. Vengeful is pretty low on life. The Shrine is going to be popped right here, but now Silencer. Even with that Shrine pop, the Omni Knight nearby, not enough. Goes down. Vengeful Spirit will finally get taken out, but numbers still looking good for Team Spirit, and they're going to get more possibly. Slight, yeah, he goes down. That Scorched Earth allowing him to run him down there. The Region also kicking in. The glimpse back on Omni Knight. The Requiem of Souls going off. A triple kill for Iceberg. It just keeps coming, man, just like the first game. I'm having flashbacks to that one now.
Yeah. Ursa got punished there for not having a blink. He had to walk into that team fight to try to help. And the Enrage didn't really do anything because he had to burn it while he's still trying to run in. So definitely not able to get that explosive burst you want to see out of an Ursa at 13 minutes into the game.
So he's back to the top lane, trying to farm, and again, working towards that Blink Dagger. But middle lane, the movement is on for Team Spirit, and again, you talk about flashbacks to that first game, it was a Lina in that first game, now it's a Silencer this time around. That's already his 5th death of the game, and they're just going to keep on collapsing and now doing more objectives. So they've been getting hero kills, but they are going to be going for the tower mid of the lane finally. And do a bit of objective there.
Is coming up huge for them in every game. He's played very well in all 3 of these games, and the lead he generated, even just going back to the first couple waves of creeps in this game, he had 11 souls coming out of the first 2 waves.
Kinetic Field Static Storm combo misses, and actually Vansker almost get turned up, but not Ursa. Did he overstep? And Rage going to be wearing off right here. Iceberg does fall, by the way, in the middle lane. So we're talking about that. Glimpse back, though, into Ursa. And Vansker going to keep his distance. They do pick up the kill onto him. Middle lane, we still have action going on. BZC. He's trying to run away now. Looks like they killed Rubik in the process, but Vengeful should be dying here. As the Purification helps secure the job on him. So 2 for 2, and actually killing Shadowfiend and the Vengeful. Definitely pretty nice for the Dire side right here, but
yeah, it's a nice momentum stop to slow the game down a little bit. They really didn't want Ursa to die there, though, because it's slowing down the Blink even more, but that helps Sand King out a lot. It's always great when you can get involved in a few kills on a roaming support. Especially when your Blink Dagger is your end goal, right? He had very little gold. Before that comes out, all of a sudden 1,300.
That is nice to have, and definitely some initiation to go along with the Ursa Blink Dagger once he eventually gets that here. Nice follow-up, and you mentioned that Vlad's on him. Doom actually purchases his own Vlads. He went the drums first even. Again, that's an item that's received more and more buffs over time. Global Silence pop right here, meanwhile, as Vengeful's going in for a kill. Looks like he swapped on in, and that's a kill on a Silencer. Requiem committed. But easy kill yet again. That's death number 6 now for Silencer.
So, a lot of times when teams are ahead on something like a Shadow Fiend, they'll go the Shadow Blade, because it does offer some damage and attack speed. But going for the Blink lets you push the aggression even more. Like, he actually blinked in and got a viable Requiem this early into the game.
Wow, that is true. Yeah, going to more of a mobile aggressive build himself. Get those big Requiems off, and able to land a couple this game that have been huge, and only 15.5 minutes into the game. As I said, that's not the most typical, but Iceberg played great all 3 games. He's 7-2-5 in this one. Net worth-wise, he's 8,000 net worth, leading the charts. No surprise there. And then again, Doom next in line even. So this Doom pick has definitely proven to be a very effective pickup, especially when you compare it to the Jakiro.
Yeah, thus far, but this pressure is weird. Spirit's going for a T1 while EWF is pressuring his T2 pretty hard.
Yeah, they're going to get them to kind of fall back, though. It seems like missing on the map a little bit of the heroes for EWF. They see 3 heroes now top lane. So they will go back in. So they haven't got the craziest damage on it yet, but it is at half-life though. So yeah, if you're Team Spirit, you probably just don't want to be giving up to your 2 towers like this.
No, but you definitely push harder if you are Spirit with that level 4 Vengeance aura and the drums and the Vlads on Doom. And he even picked up an Alpha Wolf to help with the damage. So they definitely push a lot faster on Spirit's side. And we're going to see this echo through right here.
There we go, Tier 2 tower will fall. So as you mentioned, they do it that much quicker, but they do lose their Tier 2 tower in response.
They're going to push high ground. So Slaughter picked up his Blink and smoked right away, so they have no knowledge that this Blink is out. And he blinked deep in the base, so they're going to have no idea where this Slaughter is going to come from.
Obviously, you have to defend if you're the Dire side. A 17-minute Tier 3 push is something you do not want to be giving up freely. Already at half-life, though. Iceberg just sitting with the right-click auto attacks. He does have that Aegis. Worst case here.
And they don't even want Venge hitting the tower if she doesn't have to be.
Ursa jumps in the background, going after that Venge. Slaughter, he jumps in, but he got stunned immediately, and the Global Silence comes down. Out comes the Epicenter as well. But the Doom is activated onto Ursa, by the way. Nice Static Storm combo in the background. The Requiem going to be going off in the midst of everyone. And now Iceberg's pissed off, putting in more right clicks, trying to finish off the Silencer. Unable to dive, though. They did lose 2 already, and possibly a 3rd in Doom, as he's going to get caught, too. The Kinetic Field not going to save him. So DK Phobos will fall. The Tier 3 did get pretty low. But ultimately, a great commitment there. That Global Silence causing issue for Team Spirit there.
The big problem with that was Venge hit the tower. The second Venge walked into auto range, Ursa pulled the trigger and went. And once that Venge was in trouble, that whole fight went sideways. The Doom got a very nice Doom off on Ursa early in that fight. 3-man Static Storm came out. It started so great for Spirit, and then they realized we're pushing uphill into a double Shrine. Like, all of that damage from the Static Storm got regened out, and that fight turned super fast.
Oh no. Iceberg, he's going to get caught here by Ursa. That's an Aegis used to
Aegis.
double damage Ursa, doing so much damage in the background. Sand King gets pressure by Slaughter, but he's going to be fine. And there's Iceberg, though, using that Blink Dagger to get away. So he is going to survive in the end. The kinetic field now catching Ursa. No, he's going to blink. Right on through, but there's that glimpse. Brings him right on back. And that's a dead Ursa now. So ultimately, they do get the catch here. Iceberg in pursuit. Putting in damage into Omni Knight. Nice burrow strike right there. It's 3 heroes, actually, but that's going to put Sand King to his death. So I guess he will stall the chase.
Yeah, he needed to not blink before the burrow. You just wait on the top of the hill, burrow through 2 or 3, and then blink out, and maybe lives.
Another glimpse. That max range glimpse. Oh, no, he repelled. He's good. I'm not going to stay alive for now, but maybe not much longer, because here comes Shadow Fiend. Requiem coming up in 13 seconds. Going to use it several times already. Not necessary here, though. And they do find the kill on Omni Knight, and they also are going to find Nyx once again, playing the Silencer. And they glimpse on this glimpse, man.
Yeah,
It's
as I
got
said,
like 20 kills.
if they get ahead, this lineup is so insane. Between Glimpse and Swap to pull people back, it's actually really dirty.
He is 2-0-12 on Disruptor. Pre-20 minutes.
Yeah, he's absolutely a powerhouse right now for them.
Back-to-back kills. Oh, that's Doom DCing. He he purchased a plate mail, so he actually wants to get an early Shivas here in this game. But I guess against Ursa, it's a great item to have.
Yeah, especially if Ursa goes this greedy Vlads again. If Ursa doesn't go a BKB soon, it's going to be a struggle trying to move through this team fights with the Shivas on you.
I've also seen Dooms, especially with that level 10 talent of the 80+ Devour goal, bonus goal, get the early Hand of Midas, and you'll go really extra greedy there. Again, we see Hand of Midas a lot lately, but he doesn't go that. And I think we kind of like this option, especially with how active they've been, of course. That would have been more of the farming route, but this allows him to be very active, got the early drums, and clearly that's been an efficient choice.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to accelerate the gold, though. Maxing Devour before Infernal Blade is change from the standard build. Normally we'll see Infernal Blade max because the cooldown plummets so much. You can be Infernal Blading basically on cooldown and keeping it on them.
Oh yeah, he is getting the more gold though as a result of having that Devour, but you're right, Infernal Blade only level 2 currently. But once it is level 4, the 4-second cooldown is mentioned. Plenty of damage coming out from that. And he still has that Alpha Wolf as his Devourer choice here. So amping the damage with that Vengeance Aura. There's a lot of amp damage. You got the plus 103 here on Vengeful Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Aura game is really, really strong for Spirit right now. And they're in a position to sweep every outer tower in the next minute or two.
Ready to go here on the side of EWF, but how ready can you be? Not going to be ready to defend this.
When I saw Silencer going double Null Talisman, I was wondering if we'd see the Veil first come out. While it's not super great for the Silencer himself, it would add so much to their damage on Epicenter. Ooh,
that's another find.
Once.
Little strike. There's a swap. Oh, the blink immediately. Well played right there. And the swap is stolen now by Shadows. They're going to make a play with it. Iceberg actually almost dying. The Global Silence, and they will kill Shadow Fiend right there. He went way too deep. The Doom activated onto Ursa, but putting in the right clicks. He's doing plenty of damage still. Down goes Vengeful. And now Slaughter, he's on the run. Glimpse back to try to help him get out of here. TP away? Yes, he should be good. Oh, they killed Iceberg, though.
Vansker was nowhere in that fight. He was wandering in the jungle. It was very strange, because if they had gotten a glimpse back on Sand King right away instead, probably get the kill on him and start the fight off right. Instead, that awkward swap and then the super fast blink out was awesome.
Yeah. So Team Spirit keeps getting caught just a little too far up with their hands in the cookie jar, you could say. So Shadow Fiend, and again, also really Shadow Fiend really committing to this big AoE initiation style build, because the Blink Dagger now into a BKB coming up next to follow. So I guess he's just relying on all those auras that we're talking about to deal right-click damage.
Yeah, as I said, it's a tempo-based lineup. They want to fight early and they want to fight often, so a nice build will let you keep doing that. But the Omni's mech is done now. This could be a pretty important item in keeping the team healthy when somebody gets gone on.
Guardian Angel was used last fight, so Omni Knight 80-second cooldown there. Well, that's going to be back up, ready to have impact, no doubt in these fights. Ursa trying to finish that Desolator, so is pretty much going the identical build as last game. This time around. Very ambitious. A lot of damage build, though.
Healing.
Silencer, obviously not committing to any kind of Veil. Instead, going to be going to Dragon Lance with a full-on Hurricane Pike here, so going to feel that nerf a little bit. But should have it in the near future.
Yeah, should be coming along. The Doom is closing in on Shivas rapidly. About another 2 minutes, and he should have it done. And I would imagine that'll be the go button again for Spirit. But Roche is an option for both teams. You have all of this minus armor in Spirit. It will just get shredded. And then Ursa, if they can ever sneak him into the pit, can take that even alone.
Shadow Fiend pushing out the bottom, has that BKB and farming up more of the jungle here. 1,000 gold saved up. Middle lane, we have commitment, though. They catch the Omni Knight. Mech's going to be popped, but that's all he can really do. With all that silence locked in, I think Doom was even used right there. Looks like
yeah, they committed a lot of ultimates to that.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Okay.
It was the Static Storm and then the Bench Swap were the two big ones. But if you're Spirit now, you might want to turn to Roche. You take it very, very quickly. The Omni Knight's not up to provide any sort of support, and that's going to make it do dangerous for anyone to go in. Global was even popped to try to save the Omni there.
Oh, yeah, that's key, actually. So that's going to be down for 95 seconds. And they still have Doom, as mentioned. Requiem's ready to go. So that's an easy tier 2. So, yeah, not doing the Roshan just yet. They want to go back to the top lane.
Hey, look at Shadowfin's quick buy.
He was listening.
It's good this game, too. It's very good this game.
Again, with the idea of the lineup, it actually makes sense. It's good to see players being like, you know what? It makes sense. Let's go ahead and do it. Oh, he's going to be pulled in right here, though. Glimpse back, trying to help keep him alive in the swap out as well, so he will survive. Possibly BKB as Slaughter could barely stay alive as well, but the Requiem going out from a distance. Sand King picked off. They got the tier 3. Guardian Angel was used, so yeah, you got to retreat here. If your team Spirit, they do exactly that. So Sand King's dead for 35 seconds. The Doom wearing off on Ursa there. And they're going to fully retreat, maybe look at the Roshan or possibly the Shrine kill.
That was a very clunky GA. The Sand King was already dead to the Requiem, and no one else was even getting gone on. It was kind of a, I don't know, my friend calls it squidding. You know how like squids, when they get scared, just ink? And,
ink and run.
Yeah, he got a little scared and just squidded and hit his button.
I mean, there's abilities that are great for that, but yeah, Guardian Angel, ideally you want to use that more offensively, if anything.
So you've got another, what, 10 seconds on Roshan, roughly, and then it'll respawn here.
Well, they got the Shrine kill, so they get something out of that. And so you mentioned the Ag, so it does the heal effect. It also, does it do anything else, or is that kind of the big thing?
It's the heal effect, and then it ups the amount of souls you can have.
Okay, that's right.
So it provides a two-piece benefit there, and the amount of souls isn't negligible when we factor in the level 20 talent on Shadow Fiend, that damage per soul. So getting double benefit off of every soul there. So as long as you're not dying and struggling to keep your souls up constantly on Shadow Fiend, it's a very nice damage item. Good swap.
No, that was perfect time with the swap. Sand King, he just Pearl Strike to farm. You got to figure he was looking at either Sandstorm or just immediately blink away. And he couldn't do either.
And Static is very, very fast damage on the Disruptor ult. So by swapping the Sand King into a Static Storm, he could not blink out. There was no actual chance of doing that.
Great find there, and looking to find more, but the rest will be fine. Shadow Fiend, a couple of creeps away from finishing that Axe. They're trying to let him farm up here. And there we go. Has enough to purchase it, has the courier already lined up, and the Axe. It's coming along.
And Roche is up if they scout it out. This timing is like game-ending right here already for Spirit. If they see this Roshan, take it, grab the top racks, they can look to close this game out immediately. The Ranged Rex has 17 health in top.
You look at EWF, though. They're aware that Roshan could be a thing. They might just jump right in here. There's repels put up. It looked like he was going to maybe go crazy, but...
This ward from the Radiant side is in the Ancient Camp blocking it, and it's been up almost the full duration. It saw so much there, knowing where EWF was.
Actually spots it right there. So finally will destroy it, but Okay, getting a lot of information, blocking quite a bit, but look at this. Roshan's up, and they're second to do it fast, so they got to get here quickly.
Yeah, Spirit should be picking this out. There's no one on the map. The ward for Roche is down.
Oh man, they're not going to get here. That's going to be a kill on Roshan.
Oh,
He just
they
got
can
stunned.
swappers
The
it.
stun
They can
time.
swappers
The
it.
stun time. They get the kill on the Age of Steel. Force auto right there. Doom activated on Omni-Knight. This is going to be a disaster, it looks like, for EWF. Global Silence was
The Doom
used,
got
but
stolen.
that's just going to delay. Okay, they stole the Doom, so that could be big. Yeah, used on Shadow Fiend right here, so he can't use this Requiem, but you know what? He's right-clicking just fine on every single target he goes after. Silence with the Hurricane Pike. That's only going to delay the inevitable. Buyback on Omni-Knight. There's the kill on Rubik, though. An Omni-Knight sole survivor due to a buyback. GG's even called. And just like that, the game is over. Man, that bash by Roshan at the very end.
Yeah,
Oh.
so unfortunate for them. The beautiful steal. I believe he killed the Roche with a crush on Slaughter. So he got the Roche kill, got the Aegis. Awesome play from the Rubik, though. Stole the Doom, got it on the BKB Shadow Fiend to stop the Requiem. That fight, other than the whole disaster at the Roshan itself,